Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the Two Noble Kinsmen and we get to hear from Arcite today, kicking off Act 3, Scene 1. Huzzah! We're in Act 3. So Arcite and his cousin Palamon were captured in a war that Theseus was fighting against Creon. They were captured and taken to Athens, taken away from their hometown of Thebes. They were taken to Athens, thrown in prison, where they both saw Emily through a window and fell in love with her. Arcite was then taken out of the prison and banished, so he's supposed to leave Athens, but he doesn't want to be that far away from Emilia because he also thinks that Palamon can still see her every day, like through the garden window. So he decided to disguise himself and participate in the tournaments that might that might catch her eye. That's how that's said. That might catch her eye. And that actually worked. Arcite performed really well in these tournaments, and he caught Emilia's eye, and also Theseus and Hippolyta's and Pirithous, and like everybody else's, they all think that he's really cool. So he was given a position under Theseus' service, where he's actually supposed to be Emilia's sort of servant. So he's working with her and serving her. And Emilia doesn't think that she's going to fall in love with him, even though other people are like, that guy, he's, if I was a woman, I might fall for that one. She's like, yeah, no, because she still doesn't think that she'll ever love anybody as much as she loved her friend Flavia growing up. Palamon is still in jail, or was still in jail. He was left behind and he was moved to a cell that didn't look out onto that garden. But then the jailer's daughter, who has fallen in love with Palamon, snuck him out. He's still wearing like the chains that were holding him in the prison. So she's gone to get like food and a file to try to take off the handcuffs. And she told him like, wait by this tree, whatever. And she was a little bit surprised that he wasn't really excited about leaving the prison, and that's largely because he doesn't want to be taken away from Emilia. And the jailer's daughter is also a little bit miffed that he hasn't thanked or kissed her. So she's like, I'm just going to follow along with him. Wherever he goes, I'll be there, and then he'll eventually fall in love with me. So that's where we are now. And Act 3, Scene 1, we're in a forest outside of Athens, and it's May Day, and people are celebrating May Day. And Arcite tells us this in the beginning of his monologue. He says, "The Duke has lost Hippolyta. Each took a several land. This is a solemn right they owe bloomed May, and the Athenians pay it to the heart of ceremony. Oh, Queen Emilia, fresher than May, sweeter than her gold buttons on the boughs, or all the enameled knacks on the mead or garden, yea, we challenge too the bank of any nymph that makes the stream seem flowers. Thou, O jewel of the wood, of the world, hast likewise blessed a place with thy sole presence in thy rumination, that I, poor man, might eftsoons come between and chop on some cold thought. Thrice blessed chance to drop on such a mistress, expectation, most guiltless on't. Tell me, O Lady Fortune, next after Emily, my sovereign, how far I may be proud. She takes strong note of me, hath made me near her, and this beauteous morn, the primest of all the year, presents me with a brace of horses. Two such steeds might well be by a pair of kings backed in a field that their crowns' titles tried. Alas, alas, poor cousin Palamon, poor prisoner, thou so little dream'st upon my fortune that thou think'st thyself the happier thing to be so near Emilia, me thou deem'st at Thebes, and therein wretched, although free. But if thou knew'st my mistress breathed on me, and that I eared her language and lived in her eye, oh, coz, what passion would enclose thee? So, there's a lot here. He starts out talking about the fact that this is like the May Day celebration and everybody's having fun and they're out like doing their things and isn't that cool? And then he shifts into praising Emilia and saying how beautiful she is and how fantastic she is and how someday when she's meditating he might just come up and start, making love to her, maybe. That's the chop on some cold thought, is sort of that he would like to get in there and make his move, perhaps while she's meditating. And also, I love the word eftsoons. Just sort of means like from time to time. But anyway, so he's trying to figure out the best way to make his move on Emilia, and he's really happy, and he thinks that this, if he does make a move, it's going to go well, because she always keeps him nearby, and like she treats him well, and right now there's a couple of horses nearby that they could just like jump on and run away with, like really good horses, that kind of a thing. And then he wraps it up by being like, haha, wahaha, Palamon, you thought that you were the happy one staying in jail where you'd be near Emilia, but if you knew that I got to talk to her daily and that she looked at me daily, like, ha ha ha, rub it in his face, sort of a thing, because Palamon's not there, so he can rub it in his face. But Palamon is there. Palamon has been hiding in the bushes, and he jumps out and says, tomorrow's monologue. So I'll see you then for that.